So how do your parents affect you?
I knew us as a family, but I didn't know my parents as a couple. Even though they were a couple, like we lived in the same house together,
Mm.
like we did a lot of family activities, but my parents weren't like lovey-dovey versus what you see on TV or even what you see maybe with other family members. Like I didn't see my parents be a loving couple. So them getting married to me didn't make sense, but I didn't, that stands out to me, like, cognitively now that I'm old enough to recognize that. But as a child, I didn't even realize what I was saying when I said why. I just knew that it didn't make sense to me.
Can I ask a
And
question real quick?
I woke up. Yeah.
You saying that, and that's you're in a relationship right now. You're grown. Do you feel like maybe what was portrayed on TV wasn't really what was a loving relationship? Maybe that was just some kind of like imaginary, or do you think that is a type of love out there somewhere where a couple is always affectionate, loving toward each other? Because growing up, I had the same thing. Like my parents
Hmm.
wasn't affectionate. I think at the age of 12, my dad stopped sleeping in the same bed with my mom. I only saw them like my dad would give my mom a kiss on the cheek like on an anniversary, but that was it. So for me, like I
Hmm.
never really seen love between them two besides what they poured into us. But at that point, I really didn't care
Right.
about it though. But you talking about that now and me talking about some other people in our neighborhood, we had a lot of same experiences. And I feel like
Hmm.
it kind of affected us whether we wanted to or not. Do you feel like a kid looking at that is just looking at it from a fantasy kind of perspective, or is love can be different in that type of way?
Feel like when kids see stuff media wise, I do think that that can play a part. However, again, me being a person, I've always had a sense of understanding because of my dad and because of just the way that my brain is wired. I think also growing up in the city, I do feel like city kids are different than suburban raised kids. So you just kind of have a different sense of survival that I think suburban kids don't necessarily grow up with. Not right off the bat, if that makes sense. So for me, I've always been super observant. It's like I'm not just witnessing like stuff on TV, especially not for us growing up in the 90s. The shit that we saw on TV was wild. It wasn't child appropriate at all. But I saw so many different examples of what love looks like. And I also saw a lot of Black love growing up, learning about our history, learning about civil rights, learning about how Black communities rallied together and had each other's back. It's not just my parents. I've seen multiple examples of different forms of affection. I understand affection doesn't look one way. So for me, I didn't see any affection between them. It was more so like it just seemed like a live-in co-parenting type of